Well, hello, America and the world, ships at sea, first responders, there are men in blue with a big gun, our soldiers, our veterans, and our motorcycle riders. It is a very good morning to each and every one of my dear friends out there today that God has given us. Um, what more could you ask for? Just being here. Yoo-hoo! Or as Ray Gregory would say over in Georgia, whee! We're here. We're here and now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I just done kicked the bucket. Well, this is Tuesday morning chat, so we're going to do some chatting today. We're going to see who's going to be number one. Who's going to be number one on the hit parade? Damn, I can't get my camera straight. Number one on the hit parade today. Well, hello there. It's been a long, long time. Would say I was really excited to see you, but I ain't seen you yet. So I guess I'll have I know what I got to do. Yeah, I got to do this. Got to do that. Now, there we go. Good water. I got to get that frog out of my throat. Oh, Froggy went a courting and he did right. Froggy went a courting and he did right. Oh, I guess that'd be the wrong direction. Well, I threw a party and nobody came. But boy, when they come, they're going to be in a herd. I can hear their hoof smell. Let me see. I ain't gonna quit till I wake somebody up. Well, it looks like my beard is out of control. Oh, we have somebody in there. Who could it be? Who's going to be the first one on Tuesday chat? Oh, the Crown Prince of Uganda. Jay. Hey, Jim. Jim, I watched yesterday. I didn't see another ride, but I know you probably may have had to work yesterday. So have you got a chance to get a little bit longer ride on the Black Mariah, Black Sabbath, the Black Stallion, Black Mama? Like, no, don't get me wrong now. No, I don't have a racial bone in my body. Usually when somebody tells you something like that, they're harboring something. But I'm talking about the snake, the Black Mamba. Oh, Jim. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Well, I think we're 30. We're warm. Oh, we're cold this morning. Oh, yeah. Um, well, over on the left-hand side, unless they've changed it on your fairing, down by where you adjust your engine cooler out in the front, you got them doors. They're fully adjustable. You've got a cigarette lighter. There's a cigarette lighter under there. I mean, reason I'm telling you this, if you had the hankering to slip a USB connector in there, and that would work, as an extra port for your USB. I got the Ultra Classic, and I think yours is the same. Yeah, there's a cigarette lighter in there, and have you found it yet? Oh, well, a name will come to you. Well, you'll get riding on it, and you'll have to figure out how much air you need in it too. The air ride system, it's under the seat there. You can not under the seat, under the port, that side opening door. You can get to it. There's a valve there that you can set the amount of air you want for your seat. I'm telling you things you already know. I'm sure the guy that you bought it from took you on a guided tour. Turn this on just in case.
Turn this on just in case.
Let me turn this.
Turn this on.
Oh, there we go. Turn this on so. Yeah, easy to get to. You can adjust. My me and her together, I weigh 230 pounds, and she's quite beefy herself. Um, there's quite a bit of weight on there. You got to start out at over 1,200 pounds, and you add our beef on there, and then you add. We go shopping of ours. We'll have 24 bottles of water on the rack in the back. Under the bottom there, we'll have 1/2 a case of dog food, and then the other assorted groceries packed in under the bottom. She opens the top and she puts all the fresh meat and stuff up there. The reason we do that, it's pretty insulated. We put the fresh meats and all the frozen stuff up in the top because it gets it away from the exhaust. You got an exhaust pipe that comes under, so you're going to have some residual heat from there. So we put the fresh meat up on the top. That's how we go shopping. All right, Jim, buddy, thank you very much for taking a moment to come and spend some time with me, and we'll say a good morning to you. And the retirement days will come. I'm almost 30 years retired, so of course, along with all those years of retiring, butts got wider. I've gotten slower. I call that time and grade. I'm paying for all that time and grade. Well, that was good and refreshing to have Jim to come by, give us a big thumbs up. And the world is out there, just so many people. Yeah, I have to pay attention to this, make sure it's still working. 2 before. Good morning to you. Oh, today it was cold and crispy, and I'm gonna tell you, you're really young yet, but I have a thing called neuropathy, and neuropathy makes your feet hurt, and your feet gets really, really hot, and it's just nerves are going crazy in your feet. You don't feel your toes, even though you can wiggle them. You just don't have the feeling. But when it gets colder, your feet takes a change. It feels so nice to step down on the floor and your feet are cool. Oh yeah. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Cold nights allows you to sleep better too. When you get up in age, you don't sleep as much as you did when you was young. Um, you get a few hours here and a few hours there. Now, yesterday afternoon, I was sitting here. I believe I was watching Ray Gregory, and hang on, there comes the train from Grinder Switch. Hey, sick. Oh my! I was waiting. I was waiting for the old train to slide on out of here. Well, sick. Good morning to you. I got to see you a few times yesterday, in and out. I throw the big hay up there. But while I was watching Ray yesterday, I sat here and went to sleep. I think he had. I think Motorbomb Virginia was taking him through a guided tour of StreamYard or whatever he's got there for his software package. Oh, hey, you two guys, you and Motorbomb, y'all probably got more time on that than anybody I know of. I know you probably got more time than anybody because you have no trouble whipping out 5 hour broadcast. Me, I think my longest one has been a little over 3 hours. But I'm just that new kid on the block, so I'm just learning the stuff. Well, it takes longer for us old timers to get a grip on things. You get my drift? I got to play the old card. I've never been smart. And what would make me think I'd be smarter when I got older? Yeah, it just flies by, buddy. Um, yeah, I've had those times when the time just flies by. You just, I'll tell you, when you're at the company, when I was out in the field, it was a different thing. That was where my life was, out in the field. When they'd bring me back to the main office there, I'd be walking around and I'd look up at that big old clock. There's clocks everywhere in the company. Every crew, you go to these different departments and all over the facility, and there's clocks everywhere. So I say to myself, I'm going to avoid looking at the clock because if I look up there and it's 3:01, and I know I'll be getting off at 3:30, and I'll walk along and wave at some people and do some things. And next thing I look back up at another clock and it's 3:02. I go, oh no! Watching the clock. Yeah, I think I'm still alive. I'll move my hand over here. Yep, I'm still alive. It's a terrible thing to live in the jungle and the woods where the internet comes through that little router over there, and mysteriously it gets over to the computer, and then I'm hooked up to the computer, and here we are. But I can see the big screen over there, and even though the box is no longer moving, it don't have a signal or whatever, it's still alive over there. A little bit of a buffer buildup. Well, I went over and talked. Oh, Dave had a crew in there last night. I stayed over close to 10:30 last night. Maybe a little past. I don't know. Maybe it might have been past 10:30 my time, and I wanted to catch up on some TV. I hadn't watched TV all day, so I it was fun being with that crew. They was busy exterminating vermin. All them people all them trolls that was showing up over on Dave. They had a couple of guys there was getting their opportunity to put the axe to them. StreamYard. I haven't. I don't have that yet. Um, I know one thing. You got to do that thing with the echo. If you don't turn it off. Hello, low. How you doing? Hey. I am going, doing, going, doing good. That sounded like the echo, didn't it? Do you just download the StreamYard software or you go sign up for it? Because it would be fun to have somebody, I could say, we got Sick down there in Gainesville. Come on in, Sick. And then you pop up on my screen and we go, ho, ho, hey, there's Ray Gregory over there. Bring Ray in. I will look it up and see what all is involved in it. I have such a pitiful service here. Um, we have electrical issues here, not in my house, but the whole area out here. We live on the very end of TVA, and something happens at the transformer at the substation, we go off, and they'll turn us off with no warning or nothing. American Outlaw, buddy, I wasn't ignoring you. I was conjuring up thoughts. As Sick was putting thoughts in my head about getting a StreamYard account. Um, I will look into it. I wouldn't mind buying. See, we had to buy one time when I was doing my raccoons. I needed to have a page so the people could, anywhere could check in on the raccoon farm, and it was a fee you had to pay, and they could, they'd get to your URL, and I could be asleep over and they could check in on my raccoons. The camera was on the raccoons all night long. And I'd get up in the morning and be so many messages there where people looked at the little baby raccoons when they come up on the deck with their mama, and the little fighting raccoons. They're uh, they're a bunch of rednecks in a way. Raccoons are. They fighting and they living. Oh yeah. Um, when you're asleep over there and you don't realize this, but right in front of the camera, there's two raccoons going at it. And you always got that little old school worm. Well, I've never seen anything so offensive. I sat there and watched him. He humped that he humped that raccoon for over an hour. I thought about turning my TV off and everything, and then they was both laying over there by the watering hole smoking a cigarette. How rude, I tell you. Something ought to be done. I'm I'm gonna write my congressman and see if I can have something done about this horrible stuff on my TV screen. A raccoon smoking and humping and doing a hit on the bong. That like a little sick raccoon. He was coming in there. Hey, take a toke, man. Party. I had so many parties back there. The raccoons did. I set them up a tiki bar. There's videos. You can go into my YouTube and go down, way down in there, 3 years back. I had a tiki bar. And in the swimming pool, I put the tiki bar, and they'd have to come up and get on this bar. It was a railroad tie inside the swimming pool, and I'd set all this different grains in these little cups. And I had to nail the cups down so the raccoons couldn't carry the cups off. Good morning, Mr. Robin. I'll call you. Yeah, Robin. Hey, Robin. Good morning. Um, yeah, I had different grains, and they raccoons prefer one over the other. And I put fresh fruit in there. I went up there and bought $100 worth of this fruit, dehydrated fruit. They ate that $100 worth of dehydrated fruit in just one night. Just went, that was it. They love that. They like the apples, dehydrated apples. They didn't like the bananas as much, but they love bananas. I'd take them bananas out there and lay them out quite a few overripe bananas in the heck. They would eat them things. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the raccoons. But then when we got to traveling a lot and going, oh boy, I tell you, Sick, you ought to go with me up to Washington State. I'm gonna be gone for a while, but um, golly, they they got some mighty fine um, gummies and drinks, all fortified of THC. Some of the best grown. They got a strain of Kush there. It is just it, it really gets you high, but you don't have the cough. You a little bit when you first start out, but it is well, it gets the on me. It works for me. They got a store in every little town has a shop. It's really weird. Now they will not allow you to use your credit card to buy anything in the store. You can't. You got to pay cash. What else can you do? But no credit card. Mm. It's really weird. Why could why couldn't you pay with it's your money using a debit card, but the state won't allow it? I don't even understand the reason why that would be. They take a picture of your driver's license when you go in, and out in the parking lot, there's cameras everywhere, so they got all your tag numbers and stuff. It's just like some kind of a secret organization or whatever, but it's out in the open. But they have so many rules. Oh, you hit the nail. I forgot about that. I forgot about the federal law. That's it. States have it, but it's federally still on the books. Okay, yeah, okay, that's it. I just wondered how come, because man, not everybody walks around with, when you go into one of those shops, it's easy to lay down 4 bills easy to get the stuff you want, because ain't none of it on the cheap side. I love all the names they've got. They have so many names for the different ones. Now, when I go, I usually buy ready rolls where they already roll them up, and it's just more convenient. You pay, I guess, you pay for that convenience. That's a good way of describing it. There, sick. They that's just crazy. That's really, but oh, there's still there's there's a generation from my generation. Well, you got to look at Congress up there. A bunch of damned old farts, old people like me up in there, and they remember that movie Reefer Madness. Just one toke over the line, man. Just one toke over the line. It sends you right into that. Makes you want to do horrible things. Reefer Madness. No, I'm not a salesman for it. What I'm saying is, if we have it and we have the freedom, see right back here behind my flag back here, it allows me to be free to an extent. there's a limitation to the freedom. The flag that my relatives died for, the flag that we see cripple people up at the Veterans Center with legs missing, eyeballs shot out, big holes in their head, brains scrambled. They did it under this banner, and yet we have so many limitations. We're as free as they'll allow us to be. I think some people, I really believe some American citizens are afraid of expressing freedom. You remember that the great comedian that had his TV show. He was a comedian. Guy, I love that guy. He had seven words. Hey, brown chicken. Good morning. He had seven words that were no words. And I thought to myself, grown people that are given by the FCC, the people that give you the license to operate your radios and broadcast centers and stuff, seven words, like a word, a word is going to change the world. You can't say the F word. I mean, that's a matter of preference. I mean, it's vulgar to some people. It's an expression. The shast, we all do it, but it's one of those things people like, they call, oh, I'll tell you the one that gets you. They don't want me to say hell. They'll say HE double hockey sticks. I thought, that's a grown man saying HE double hockey sticks. Why in the hell not just say hell? If I pick up the Bible and I read, and I do, and it uses the word hell all through there, but I can't say it because it's rude. That's so crazy. I know it's going to offend a lot of people, but they'll just have to get over it. Yep, nothing is free. No free rides, no free lunches. um, we're going to go to Washington State, and we're doing a Christmas with the family in Washington. And I got a little grandson. He's 3 years old. He's going to be 4 in March, but he's 3 years old. And I'm buying him this really nice Jeep. It's really a nice one. It's got headlights. It's got a horn, beep beep. It's got a radio in it. It's got turn signals. It's got everything. Little blinking. Yeah, it's got everything, and it's got. He can drive it, or he can. To learn to drive it, he's got a remote control, and he can take the remote control and drive it out in the park and get the understanding of the steering. And my son and I are going to assemble it at my sister's house while he's still in school. We're going to assemble the Jeep. No, we're not buying it from IKEA, but it's still, there's some assembly required. You got to put the wheels on, the steering wheel. But that little old thing, it's got suspension on it. I don't know what the weight limit on it, but I've seen like an 8 or 9 year old boy driving. I believe you have to be from 3 years of age and up. But I've seen like 8, 9 year old boys riding them, and they run good. You got a 3-speed transmission in them. Oh, that boy's going to love it. Batteries not included. I watched Andrew Karamachi, I think it's his name. He lives up in New York on the side of a mountain, and he does all heavy equipment stuff. He went out and picked up all of these electric scooters and electric Jeeps and all these different electric toys, and goes back up to his place. So a truckload of them. And he went over at Lowe's and bought all these batteries, for your drill motor and stuff like that. And he 24 volt or 18 volt. He made up the plates that you could lock them into. Then the voltage came off those plates. He had them anchored in there. Oh my God, he made them things that just take the batteries out and keep them charged up, and that thing would just run. They would just them kids were out there in the yard just running everywhere in them Jeeps. It's going to be probably going to be one of my best Christmas, um, being with the family, getting out there. We're going to take the southern route so that we can avoid all the mountain passes. We'll still have to go up through northern California, by Mount Shasta, over into Grants Pass. Once you go over the hump at Grants Pass, it's all smooth sailing from there on. Love you guys. Hey, be safe today, Robin. Come back and join us. You're always welcome at my site. So I was going to ask American Outlaw, you're still having an issue about you got 55 or more, but yet you can't go live. What have you found out why you can't go live yet? Well, I've been busy doing most of all the talk, but I'm going to take Sick up on his offer of getting a StreamYard. I'll probably check that out. He's got 55 subs. I thought he only needed 50 to go live. He's got 55, and he's already been live once, but he can't get back on live. Yeah, I go back way back at the beginning of YouTube when he was just starting out. I started putting videos on back then, and way back like 2015, they had the monetize system, and I qualified for it. So I used to monetize, and they'd put Ford and Chevrolet commercials, all kinds of commercials on my site there, and I was doing guns, and I could get on. When I turned and shot my pistol, that would be good for 5 to 9,000 viewers to watch me shoot the pistol. I shot a lot. I shot for 5 or 6 years out there at my gun range, and you could get 150,000 on just one video, 150,000 viewers on the gun thing. But then there was a kind of a trend downward to move away from guns on YouTube, and pretty soon people was afraid to even come over and make a comment because they didn't want to be labeled. I don't know. That's the weirdest damn thing I ever seen. Well, there's a lot of things I don't understand, but wasn't meant for me to understand. Yeah, I see my signal's still holding up this morning. I switched it. Uh, I dropped the resolution. You can see I don't have the high quality. I dropped the resolution down to give me more bandwidth. Yeah, I don't think it says, yeah, don't say HD on the screen anymore. Used to say HD, so I've dropped down below HD. But it's still on my screen, it looks like it's working. And on this one right here, it's working. That's the reason I'm always afraid to go somewhere. Because if there's just a blip in the power, then all of a sudden I go off and I'm sitting there just talking away. Thank you, buddy. Bro, man. Uh, well, one thing we have in common, we've both been to Fort Lewis. Yep. Um, my my cousin here in Alabama joined the Army, and he said, I'm going to be coming to Fort Lewis. He said, what am I, what am I to expect when I get to where get to Fort Lewis? I said, well, you're going to be woke up every day by that beautiful mountain over there. And I was describing the mountain. He had to come up there and do TDY. I guess it's some kind of a special training he went through. And so he lands, and it started raining, and it rained for 180 straight days. No, everything sucked in, no mountain. And so he was getting close. He was getting up there close up to his 6 month TDY duty, and they were out there way past the artillery range. Where they fire down range. He was past that, and they had bivouac down in there with this team. And then when they woke up that morning, oh my God, the glory of God was right there. There was that 14,410 foot Mount Rainier just shining. Well, they had had time off. So him and 3 or 4 of his troop said, hey, let's walk to Mount Rainier. Let's go see it. So they take off and they walked for 5 or 6 hours towards the mountain. The mountain never got any bigger. Somebody told them when they got over by somewhere way down range, way past Parkland, way down in there. They said, past the Four Corner, down in Roy, Washington. When they got down in that area, they said it's still 75 miles to the mountain. Yep. The school shuts down. Well, in the Puget Sound, you got that big body of water out there, and in the wintertime, the Japanese current flows through the Puget Sound. The water temperature rises 2 degrees or so when the Japanese current comes through, and all we get is rain and very little snow. And there's been some exception now, because now we're getting the jet stream has changed, and now we're getting the Arctic flow. We don't have that. The convergent zone is shifted, and now Portland is getting snow. Seattle's getting snow every year. And I looked on the long range weather. We're going to have 5 straight days of snow while we're out there in December. There's going to be 5 straight days of snow. So we're going to have all of our Christmas shopping done. we intend to stay around the house, and she's got all the internet service. I can plug all my system up. I'll probably be doing live broadcast from Kent, Washington. I'm going to do some live broadcasting as I travel across the country. I'll go live, and when I get up, if we when we get up in the well, where we got a signal, you have to look and see what kind of signal you got. And if you got a good signal, you might see us live in Needles, California, or Flagstaff, Arizona. Just don't know. Or in the Panhandle over in Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo is so treacherous traveling across the Panhandle of Texas in December. They can be wind storms coming across there with snow and ice, and pretty treacherous. We're going to be on I-40. We're also going to, there's a restaurant we like to stop and eat at, and that's in Flagstaff, and it's on Old Route 66, and we're going to eat there again. Oh, we got, who's this just came in there? Is it Yusef? I can't see it. Hello. Welcome to Old Mack's channel. Hello, my name is Old Mack. I live in heart of Dixie, which is almost the central portion of Alabama, USA. And it's quite crisp out there this morning. And it's going to be really cold in the morning. It's going to be 30, 38 degrees in the morning. So that's about all I can tell you about Old Mack. Old Mack is truly, listen to this. Now, he is really an Old Mack. Some guys call themselves old. I'm 50 years old now. Yep. I finally made it to middle age. I'm 50. Hey, Ray. God bless you, man. I loved you yesterday. I saw you. You're fledgling. You were like a little bird just come up out of the shell, Well, you're like a big bird. You get all up in there, big eyes, and you have your buddy sick right there. I shouldn't say your buddy. He's my buddy too. Our buddy sick, Motorbahn, Virginia, and they was guiding you through the treacherous trails of live broadcasting on StreamYard. You got a good camera. The camera looks good. It makes you look really good. I loved your ride yesterday. I loved it when you was riding out there in the woods. When we were riding, I was out in the front out there. While we was riding out there in the woods, and you came up on that old big-breasted butt wobbler, big-breasted butt wobbler. You'll find them out in the woods of Alabama, big-breasted butt wobblers, just going on down. I saw you even zoomed in on the big-breasted butt wobbler. Yeah, I loved it. Hey, we got a few comments about the sound of old Miss Piggy too. From being, the camera being behind. I've never, until I saw your first video, I never heard it before. But it's got for a machine like that, it's got good sound. I mean, it's my bike. I had nothing to do with the sound, but um, it certainly sounds like a Harley from the rear. to freeze up. Let me move my hand. No, I'm still alive. Uh, as time, of course, I'm new too. I'm really new on doing live, um, and I'm going to try StreamYard. I said, well, oh, I heard my cat scratching under the door. I wonder what that was. Um, I want to do. I want to see today. I'll see about setting up StreamYard and and see. They got that little. You can buy. You can buy more features with it, and I'm going to see what all they have to offer because they may have a better control over my video management. I don't know. Maybe they have things on the screen that I don't know. We're just going to check it out. Uh-oh. Here come my little man. Oh, hey, sweetie. Good
Hi.
morning.
Hi.
Can you speak today?
Well,
Listen to this. Listen to this, guys. I hope the plan is still on. My little girl wonder here, little Angelique, she's gonna make gravy and biscuits today. That's still on, right? She's making gravy and biscuits for Old Mac.
I'm gonna try it now. I'm gonna attempt now.
You
I'm gonna do
what?
the biscuits now.
You're gonna do it now? You're gonna put the biscuits in now?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna eat till
I'm
9
just gonna do
o'clock.
the biscuits.
Okay.
I'm gonna do biscuits first.
she's going in and getting the biscuits started. Well, build a fire in the cook stove and don't put no inner tubes or nothing like that in there. It makes the bread taste rubbery. So yeah, don't use that gasoline in the cook stove like you did the last time, okay?
I make no promises.
The rule of thumb is if Ray Gregory can do it, anybody can do it. We find that not to be true. They used to use me as an example. I used to use myself as an example. I tell them guys, they go, I can't do this or I can't. I go, I'm down near 80 years old, and if you can do it, if I can do it, you can do it. And now that I'm approaching 85, I can really rub it in. I go, come on, hey, if an old guy nearly 85 years old can do it, I ain't got nothing but time too before on the figuring stuff out. Um, my my friend American Outlaw, he gave me the OBS pro. He sent he sent me a link to it. I went to it and set it all up, and I'm using OBS in conjunction. I can go in and it takes control of my camera. The different setups that you can do, and so I use OBS and setup to set my webcam up. Um, I can't read that. I can't read that name right there. Use YUTFBTRERR. Sir or ma'am. Oh, let me go over to the page. Let me go to his page. Y'all bear with me here. I'm gonna go on his page and go to his channel. Go to his channel, or his or her. Maybe I can get some idea. He has 7 subscribers, he or she. Let me see about. Let's see what it's. YUF. What? No, it's YUTFVTRERR. I'm so apologetic to you. I don't even know you, but I feel like I'm really just slaughtering your name. I'm illiterate, so I'm an old guy. I don't know stuff. So some of these younger guys, they can probably pronounce your name better. And that might be something, a name you give yourself, but I see you got 7 subscribers, and let's go to more. Let's see what else he's got. Well, he's been with YouTube a couple of years, so I don't think he's a troll. Well, anyhow, welcome to my channel. There we go. We're back live. Oh, I guess I've been live all the time. I'd like to hear more about you. Tell us more about you. Where you're at, and you may not be able to speak English. I don't know, but if you ever want to join us, we'll actually go over to the translator and see if we can convert your language if you're from another country. But you'll be welcome here unless you show your ass, and if you do, we'll have one of these boys to toss you out. That's the way it works. You play nice and you get to stay. Six, taking care of the situation. I think it's probably going to be a language barrier. With the name Yusef, it's almost... Oh, come on back, American Outlaw. We're going to be around to 9 o'clock. So unless power goes off or the modem blows up or Old Mack croaks out, you never know. I might be sitting here and just be yapping along, and I'll get a blank stare in my eyes, and then it's gonna make a difference in my life, but I'm sure it's gonna look weird if I croaked out on the screen. I don't feel those signs. Years ago, we talked about when the kids grow up and all that kind of stuff. Well, all my kids live somewhere else, and they got grandkids up to buku, and their kids have kids. I'm a great grandfather. My brother, he babysits all the grandkids. All them kids, his tribe of kids they got children, and he's got little hot and cold running little critters all around the place. No, I'd hate to see his Christmas bill. After just buying gifts for all of them. Oh, I never thought about that. I'd like to know more about him. I love it when people, they get out and they look around and they happen to stumble up on this page here. And I belong to a group called Live Journey. If you look them up, every time there's a situation that the Israelis and the Palestinians are having a tussle, which is really getting ugly and nasty. I have friends that live there. They live there, and they all meet up on Live Journey, and they've got really working knowledge of both sides, both countries, all the surrounding countries, and it ain't one of them things where they hate when they're on the air. When they're on Live Journey, the moderators don't allow all this. You don't get on there and go crazy, but you can express your opinion about stuff. It's really a well-run organization. You guys might just go over and look for Live Journey, and there's a good bunch of people. We've been doing that for the last couple of years, and I go and check with them. If you hear something, you see something on the news about Israel, you can go to Live Journey and get it live. The cameras are live. There's no NBC, CBS, no Fox, none of that crap. It's human beings with cameras like I've got right here, bringing you what's going on, and you can see it. There's not a narrator. It's just some guy, some lady, and you all meet up there. It's a really great organization. Thanks, Nick. I knew you'd take care of it, so it's a lot easier for you to do because you can run around while I'm sitting here. I mean, I've got this. This is like a wild herd of mules. I got the reins, and I'm trying to run this little Old Mack show here, and I've got these moderators doing a good job. They keep my page clean, man. It's we don't have. One time there was a troll in here, and I didn't see him. And in come Dave. Dave come walking in, and I think one of the trolls was probably followed Dave over. And as soon as that thing popped up over, it's like a little mole head coming up out of the ground. Old Dave took his big foot, crunched it, got rid of it. No trolls for you. Sick last night, right towards the end of my broadcast with Dave over in Australia. He was talking about loving to come into America, but the expense is so high, and it's got to be really, really tough. I mean, all that. Just imagine sending a little package. A little package costs you $50. The little package. Can you imagine the cost of flying on a plane and all that stuff? And so I told him I'd send him a bus ticket. And old Dave is so quick. I mean, his mind is working a million miles per hour. He looked down there and he laughed when he saw that oh, okay. You take care of whatever's got to be done. So he looked at that where I was sending him a bus ticket. He said, "Oh, no, thanks. I'm going to take the Pacific Boulevard, hop on his Harley, and when he gets over there on that side of the country, just hit the Pacific Boulevard and come riding right on in. Cut right through the Panama Canal. Come over and see Ray, see Sick. He gonna come up into Florida." Damn, yes, he's sharp. I'm gonna tell you, you're good, Sick. You're young though. You're young, but you're really good. Dave is an older guy, got more mileage on him, but you just name a group or just a drummer in a group. He can tell you what the group is. He can tell you all about them. You just sing a couple of lines, let's say a few words, and he knows who wrote the song. He's good with his music, and I'm sure you found him to be the same. I hate to keep running my nose into the camera, but after each over, I ought to be more prepared. I got an end table right over there. I could bring my end table. Oh yeah, that's what I ought to do. Bring my end table over here, set my coffee here, or maybe put the end table on this side, And I'm right-handed, so I could drink my coffee. And she's making biscuits and gravy. No, she's not going to roll out them delicious cat head biscuits. No, she's using Pillsbury Grand, not in the can, but the bag of frozen Pillsbury, the big uh, the big biscuits, and it's going to be her first pan of gravy she's ever made. I I have been giving her more free reign to do everything to get her more experience that she's always been taken care of, and I've always cooked, or my wife has always cooked. But she's now being introduced to more. She loves it. And that toad in the hole, when she was making toad in the hole, she loved it. And I think she knows she made me happy with putting the egg in the center of the bread, fried the bread and got a hole in the bread and you put the egg in there and you fry the egg as you're cooking the bread and you turn it. Oh my, it is good. She used butter in the skillet and it was not. Well, y'all saw it. I held it up so y'all can see the toad in the hole. Maybe tomorrow I'll explore StreamYard today and see if it's something I'd want to tackle. I don't have, well, I've got you and on the air sort of thing, but I don't have anybody close in my neighborhood like, hey, do you know how to do this? I have to wait till one of you guys come along before I can, if I get into a tight spot. But so far, it's been pretty smooth, all this live stuff. And I did some really, when I didn't have a signal before I got this router here, I did outside in the yard in the bamboo. I love that. I love doing that. I think it was in the 80s, and we're sitting out there in the woods. And I did a 5 o'clock in the morning out there on the back deck, and all the old the insects were creaking. They were making all them sounds, and you could hear the jungle in the background. Well, I haven't seen Motorbomb this morning. He see, it's already almost 9 o'clock there, so he might. I know. I'm sure he's working today. So, but I don't think he leaves out to about 10. He keeps banker's hours. You remember what they used to call banker's hours? The people that made decisions at the bank, they didn't get there till 10 o'clock in the morning. Well, he has to get all of his stuff ready to head out, hit the road. Man, he's got a wild ride. Up there in that part of Virginia, that's heavy, a lot of traffic, a lot of construction, and he makes it look good there. But I'm sure that's some good creative editing he's doing, because there's probably moments he didn't want that kind of stuff to get on the air. I love that people's got lives. You're not just riding a bike. Um, you've got another life. That other life helps you to have the bikes and stuff that you enjoy. But when he goes fishing, that is so. I just sit there and watch him and his daughter fishing and meeting people over there when he pulled the boat out on the dock and everybody on here. Look at Ray. Ray's probably like a master mechanic. He can do anything. That Ray Gregory is just a universal guy. Can do anything. I mean, he can turn a wrench. He has all these different cars and everything in his head, and yeah, he um, probably does his own plumbing at his house, probably electrical stuff. He's the kind of guy that can do these things, that has a real life. Um, each guy has his own story. That's their private life and things they do. But some of their private life comes over into their live feed, and I love that part too. Shows the human aspect, the quality of your other world. Sick. That's the reason I like winter over summer in a lot of ways. I love summer because of the good, easy riding. Spring, summer, and fall, but then the winter is great sleeping. I do my best sleeping in the wintertime. Get under that comforter over there. Whoa, buddy, I'm telling you, I can go to sleep. I take a drug. Um, what is it called? It's a drug they give you for your feet for the neuropathy, and it's used for a gabapentin. I'm not suggesting anybody take it, but boy, gabapentin. Before I found gabapentin, my feet would hurt so bad when I lay down at night. Them old feet would be just throbbing. I go, oh no, and I don't take pain medicine either. But somebody told me, they said, ask your doctor about gabapentin, and I did, and I've been on it now for quite a while. And I usually take it at 10, around 10 o'clock at night. By the time I get in bed over there, it's lights out. Sterling will. Might I ask you, where are you today? Where is Sterling Will today on his dedicated run? Welcome back, American Outlaw. Yeah, I read the side effects as well, and I give myself breaks on it. I'll go, I'll go 3 or 4 weeks, without it, and then and when my feet starts hurting, then I will start taking it again. Alturas. I used to have a friend that worked in a restaurant in Alturas. He didn't work in a restaurant. He worked in like a lodge, a resort. He worked up at a resort in Alturas. He was a chef. I like that area. You're not in the mountains. You've got mountains all around you. The hard part is done. Northern California. That's a pretty place over there. You can go on up through there and go to Susanville, or there's all you just got many ways you can go. One time you may have probably experienced this. Over there by Cheyenne, um, way up, I don't up there on I-80, way up high elevation. They had a bunch of 18 wheelers crashed and they had the highway blocked up. So we were sitting there for 6 hours on this long uphill slope. And so every once in a while, the traffic would move up a little bit, but my engine had been off for a long time. I mean, I had been off. I went down on the on duty, but not driving line. And I was sitting there in the seat, and I seen this truck slowly going by me. I go, now how in the hell is he going? And then I felt a big bump. I went, boom. I went, whoa, somebody's done run into me. With all of my brakes all locked up. I was sitting there and I was sliding backwards and I bumped into a guy behind me. And this guy that was going by me he was sitting still. I was just simply sliding by him. Boom. I go, what the hell's going on there, Han? And then I had to get out of that damn truck and go back there and make sure I didn't hurt something. And I asked him, did he want to file it? He said, hell no, I ain't going to file no damn report over just you bumping into me. And we was good. Everybody's good. But I've never had my truck to slide backwards while sitting on ice. Wind was blowing 70 miles per hour, and the wind pushed me. You know, with the sleeper sitting up there, it's like a big wind sail, and you got a flatbed. You don't have no surface back there, but that thing was just sliding backwards. Well, that's pretty country. You see, right now it's only a little after 6 out there. So, yeah, your sun is just coming up, right around over there, Shasta. It's probably when you go around a little bit further, you're probably looking right at Shasta. I was telling Sick the other day about Weed, California. Weed, that's where Highway 97 goes north on I-5. You hit Weed and go north. You can go north on US 97. That carries you right through the middle of Oregon. Comes out over there in the Dalles in Washington. And in the old days, when we used to do that run, I used to run that route all the way to Yakima, is you'd have to get on a ferry boat, which was a barge that had a motor on the side of the barge, and that thing would carry you across the Columbia River. And on windy days, water would be just sweeping all the way up. You can see it come all the way up to your hood when you're sitting out there on the deck. Water would hit the front of that boat and come all the way up to the hood there, and just crossing the Columbia River. That was at the Dalles, but now they got all those nice bridges across there. So you'll see a lot of people down there wind sailing on the Columbia River. My God, Sick, have you ever done that? You're young enough, you might have got involved in wind sailing, where they got a kite thing, they got a thing, and they got skis, and they'll hit them wakes, and they get up in the air, and man, they fly. They can steer them. When they crash big. Sterling Wheel, I used to haul dress lumber from a kiln up in, Lewiston and Clarkston. On the Washington side, it's called Clarkston, and over on the or Idaho side, it's Lewiston. And I used to go all the way up around 7,000 feet up there. There was a kiln up there, and they would load us with dressed lumber. And in the old days, when we was fully loaded, we used to have water cooled brakes. You maybe go back before your time, but it had like a glycol in the tanks in the wintertime so the water wouldn't freeze up. But you had a thermal coupler, and when it got so hot, it would spray water onto the drums to keep them cool when we come down out of the Cascades. Um, Man, I'd get down to Lewiston down there, and when you got down at the Columbia River, that's the Snake, I think, and when you cross over the Snake, um, it was pretty smooth sailing from there. But boy, coming down with that load of wood, and when you're hauling dressed wood, it's finished wood, it tends to want to creep on you. No matter how tight you pull them binders, you cinch up on the brakes a few times, do a brake check a couple of times, you're going to have, dressed 2x4s and 2x6s coming out of the pile. uh, you get to shift them gears in a trucking simulator, American Outlaw. That's so cool. You probably missed the days when you was in. I know I really did. When you was in the motor pool there, my son was in the 504th mechanized unit, and he was a mechanic. That's what he does. That's what he was doing. Then he got blowed up over in Fallujah. He was hurt real bad, so he got a discharge from the Army after 19 years. He's a nurse. He went to school to be a nurse. It takes a long time to get his nurse practitioner and things of that nature. When my son came out, he had 22 years in the Army. My other son, Michael, when Michael came out, before he come out, he said, "What do I have to do to get my CDL?" He said, "I've got the military of this." And I said, you go over when you're in Oklahoma, go to Oklahoma to the motor vehicle department and show them what you got. And they will guide you through what it takes to get yourself the CDL. Man, it was nothing. He's driving a Peterbilt 10-wheeler. He's got a 10-wheel Peterbilt truck. It's got a big box on it, and he does seismographic stuff. He'll go over and park and set his outriggers down, and they got these things that does the thumping on the ground, and they read the echo in the oil pools and stuff. And that's what he does. He just goes all over North Dakota, South Dakota, all the way down, all the way to Arkansas doing soundings. They even set off small explosive charges. There was a guy up at the sawmill at the top up there, and we got to talking, and he said, "I've got a brother that lives in Lewistown." And he said, "Do you get a chance? He's right there on the main drag when you come down." He said, "And there's plenty of parking." He said, "You can pull over there." And then he said, "Go see my brother. Tell him I'm doing well." So one time I brought a load out of there. I was hauling 2 loads a day from the kiln over to just north of Pasco, the Tri-City area, up there in a little place called Mesa, Washington. That's where I was hauling 2 loads a day. So I stopped down there, introduced myself. He was so happy I got to see his brother, and he had a little poodle dog. A little dog fell in love with me. He said, "Man, you can't believe." He said, "What a pleasure it would be for me to give you that dog because we're leaving this house and where we're going, we can't take the dog with us. And the dog loves you. If you want that dog, take it with you." I took the dog with me and she rode with me and we finally got it home and the family loved the dog. And next thing we know, there's 5 dogs. She had 4 little babies inside of her. We didn't know that. Boy, she puffed up. She had a little poodle dog. She puffed up and pooped out them 4 little babies there. Didn't have no trouble giving them away. They were beautiful little animals. You know, for the guys that's never been to Lewiston, Idaho, um, for those people that never been there, just right there at the corner where the the Blue Mountains come together, you've got the Snake River. Right there is America's deepest canyon. Right there, just right in there. You just go around there. Some of the most primitive place in the world. I mean, there's brown bear, there's grizzly bear, black bear. Everything down there can eat you. It's called Hell's Canyon. Look it up if you don't believe what old Mac's telling you to be true. Hell's Canyon is right there in the corner where Oregon and Idaho and Washington. And right there is Hell's Canyon, America's deepest canyon. It's deeper than the Grand Canyon. You go, oh, that can't be. Well, why have no? We haven't heard of it because it's in a primitive area. It's a there's no super highways going in there. There's no, they can't develop the area like they did down there in Arizona, where you've got miles and miles of nothing. New Mexico down through there. So Hell's Canyon. In fact, that's where my hero tried to jump the canyon. Hell's Canyon. Remember his rocket ship, the Evil Knievel? Parachutes went off too soon, he said. I will tell you, that is so planned. When you see it, I thought to myself, he goes up just at the perfect place for the chutes to open, just the perfect place for him to come down where he wouldn't drown or be crushed on the rocks. I like playing with all the gears we had. I was in the supply point at a supply point where we had to load up a lot of equipment on the flat cars, and the coal started. At that time, we had some of the tanks that had big horizontal opposed engines, and you had to go and bleed each cylinder off, make sure there was no hydro lock or whatever they call it, and you'd have to it take you an hour to start the thing up the first time, and we'd have to go out there and our hands would be cold and numb and trying to get these engines started. And but you get in and you got all these gears and some of the Oshkosh Bagosh, whatever, the Oshkosh trucks, whatever they call them things, they had such combination of gears. Some of the earlier models, now the newer ones are a lot different than what we had. I did when after I retired, I did drive 6 years over the road once again. But when I worked at Boeing, way it works is just like working at Ford and Chevrolet or Ford and General Motors. When the production run would be down, they would lay you off. So we had a lot of layoffs at the company until you get about 15 years in. Once you get about 15 years, they hold you back and lay off the newer employees. But um, we had a lot of layoffs, and every time I got laid off, I would go drive for somebody. And one of my best jobs, I drove for Sigali out of Renton, Washington. Sigali is a company that does highway building, and they have these 66-foot long belly dumps with electric dumps on them. And they have these big Mack trucks. They've had Macks forever, and I don't know what they got today. But no one at the Kenworth and the Peterbilt Truck Company is right there on East Marginal Way, just 10 miles from where Renton is at. They drove in Macks. They loved them old Macks. Old Mack loved them old Macks too. Because that's where he got his name. My daddy came home after 3 days after I was born. He brought the doctor over, and the doctor checked me over and said I was a human and signed the birth certificate. And he put my middle name, Mack. And with my middle name, Mack, it was just an easier name to remember. A reason I switched from Jerry to Mack is they'd say, "Is that short for Gerald? Is that Jerome? Is that Jamal?" I said, "No, it's Jerry." So Mack went down easier. Dang. Oh, well, you should have been able to just went down there and got with the DMV of wherever you was living at the time. And I don't know Washington really. I don't know if you got out in Washington or not, but they're really a crude. They're they're stick. They're just kind of odd on their driver's license. See, the company would send me away for 1 year. When I'd go away, whenever you arrived at wherever they sent you had to get their driver's license, Texas driver's license, Missouri driver's license, wherever, Alabama driver's license. You had to get those licenses. When you roll back into Washington, you didn't go over and say, "Here's my Missouri license. I'd like to switch it over to." No. We'll set you up a driving test, and we'll set you up. You gotta. Oh hell! I was just here a year ago. I have a home. I live here. I'm a native. Yeah. They all say that. You will take the test. I go, all right. I got where I was on a first name basis with them because I did a lot of 1 year sessions. Oh hell, ain't that something? Down here we have a driving school in Walker County, just right over there. It's one of the very, very best. Um, the GIs come out and they'll go over there and as soon as they get home, they line themselves up if they want to drive a truck, and they go over and take that school over there. And my buddy Joe went through that school. What was that thing called over there? I forget the name of the trucking company. And of course, in Birmingham, everybody, for their first opportunity to go over the road, they used to go over and ride with Deaton, Boyd Brothers, and Deaton, Boyd Brothers over in Georgia, and Deaton here in Birmingham. And I think they finally ended up being Western Express, but old Cheatin' Deaton, you could go over there and you could just be at the bottom of your class, and you'd be a perfect trainer for Deaton. Cheatin' Deaton. When I was a young boy, I used to watch all the over the road rigs back in the day. It was Campbell Express. And on the side of the truck, I always loved that. It said Campbell Express, humping to please. Humping to please. And when you got in the Army, you learned the different what humping meant in the Army. When you did a hump, it wasn't like when you was with your girlfriend on a picnic. It was a lot of labor involved in it. You notice today she's got me on a smaller cup because she's making me gravy and biscuits. And she's going to bring me a bigger cup of coffee. And I'll have that all finished up time she's already had the biscuits in the oven for a while, but I told her, don't even bother coming back till 9 o'clock. I started to say I was going to stay here. The motor bomb showed up because I left him yesterday. I left just as he was reaching for the doorknob to come into my web room. I done signed off. Just missed me by that. He just missed me just by that much. M88. I used to drive a six. What do they call that thing? Deuce and a half, and it was a six-wheel drive deuce and a half. I remember they used to have a saying for it, but when I as a civilian, I worked for a guy named Leon Nigaron, and he had these Army uh, tank retrievers. They had a really big, and we would go and put rail cars back on the back on the track. They would be bringing coal out of one of those little switchbacks, and we'd put trains back on the track, and the thing had a PTO drive that run all your main boom, and it was all controlled by cables. So when I got out to California, one of my first jobs, non-truck related, was driving a D7 Caterpillar tractor. It might have been a 6. It was all cable operated. You had levers here that lifted your blade up in the front, and you had levers here that put your utility bar, if you was like ripping soil, a 3-foot deep ripper. And so I was used to operating cables. And then they came out with all these hydraulics. I mean, they'd had some hydraulics, but almost all your tractors had electric starting motors. Back in our days, we had a 2-cylinder pony motor. We'd have to start the pony motor, and then we had a gearbox, and we'd switch it over, and and you had a compression lever on the 6-cylinder cat engine. And you pull your compression lever and get it running, and you start seeing the smoke coming up out of the stack. You shove forward on that compression lever, and it will start up, shut your pony motor off, and away you'd go. Big boy toys. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of big old things to play with in the service, and my some of my younger kids that was into the service, they got into the digital portion of it, and they become like digital masters, and they ran all kinds of digital stuff, and they got where they were really good at it. And so when they came out, they become like IT people and was in that part of the world, which that's also very rewarding too. Pays good. More labor they are to a job, the less pay you earn. The more cushier your job is, and they're paying you for your mind, sitting in the office, controlling some stuff, digital stuff, keeping you on the air. They pay you the big money. But I was so foolish. I took all those remote going out in the field because I like going out there. You could stay in the home office, and you never did have to go out in the field, and you never knew what was going on out there. You'd be working for packages that's going out into the field to be deployed. And like when we developed the Patriot missile, um, when I got back to the home office, they was developing a new missile called the Patriot, which turned out to be one of the saviors for Israel with the Iron Dome. It's like 5 generations past where I started, but we developed a Patriot system in Auburn, Washington. And at that time, when we was developing it, it was had a different name. We don't do the name in the military names them. When it got to Huntsville, Alabama, after we got through, it was called the Roland, not rolling like wheels, Roland, like General Roland, a very famous general named after General Roland. And so I stayed a lot of years on the Roland project in house. I didn't go out in the field. But when the opportunity came to go out in the field, I went because I wanted to see how it was deployed out in the field. And when I got to Huntsville, at Redstone Arsenal, they introduced me to the Patriot. I go, Patriot? I had no clue because I was on the Roland project, and I went. Then when they laid it out to me, I said, "Wait a minute, this is the Roland." They said, "Yeah, this is now the Patriot." And yeah, we had several of different projects we did. That once I worked on a package called the 581 package. I spent 5 or 6 years on the 581. All I know it was the 581 package, and I worked on it, and we tested. We built a lot of equipment. We built a wavy machine so that we could actually measure the surface discontinuity. We could also measure the sinusoidal effects of skins when they're stretched or graphite composites. It's called the sinusoidal effect. So we had a machine that could measure the sinusoidal because when you're flying at a very high speed, the sinusoidal or the ripples that you don't see, the sinusoidal effect can cause cavitation in your fuselage, and that could break stuff up. So we had to invent a machine that could measure the Simonsoidal effect or the surface discontinuity. And so when we got it all together, the news broke about the new B-2 bomber. Now we built all the graphite composite on the B-2 bomber. Northrop was the parent company. We were subcontracted. Our company did the graphite composite, and we had some of the most advanced graphite composite machines. My ex-wife, wife number 3, she worked for the company. That's how I met her. I met her when she was working for the company. Well, she was the Cherokee Indian. She was down there at a new facility that did only graphite composite. That was their whole. That's the whole purpose of building that whole new facility. And all she knew was 581. You just made parts for the 581. And they do these kind of things so that when I'm at the pub, and if I started sitting there chugging down some beers, yeah, I'm on that B-2 bomber. Yeah, we're building that big Batwing bomber. We're gonna just blow people up with it. Loose lips will sink ships. Well, there's a few people in watching, and I've got a person one time they said, I don't ever say anything, but I watch every day. Well, here's your opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say. We have no limits here. Well, as long as you stay within the guidelines of humanity. Motorbomb, I love you, man. I've been waiting for you to show up. I made it clear I was not going to leave my station until Motorbomb showed up. Me and the American Outlaw, we've been sitting here talking about Army equipment and Army machines, and Sterling Will is in here. He's over at Alturas, California, Northern California. He's in God's country up in Northern California. It is a really nice place to be. Desert, I've mentioned about the desert. See, when you're at Alturas, you're at the edge of the mountains and right at the edge of the desert. Scrub brush, tumbleweeds. Oh, we've been up there too. We went up there, my son and I, and we went up to Camp Muir. If you remember Mount Rainier, my son and I, we hiked up to Camp Muir. Now, Camp Muir is where you register to go up on the summit. The civilians have to register at Camp Muir. Well, I haven't been over. I've been on here for an hour and 48 minutes, and I haven't went over to say good morning to Dave yet, but I did say good night to him last night. I think you might have been in there. I know. Oh, what was his name? I got the biggest kick out of him. He was throwing burning oil on some of the trolls that was affecting David over there, and he was having a good time doing it. I'm sitting here enjoying coffee with my good friends. Frogzilla. That's right. Frog was he was throwing boiling oil on them. Oh, Eric. Well, see, hey, you seen my name? Yeah, yeah, just don't call me late for dinner. I had a good friend, Eric, Eric Burlett. Eric Burlett wanted to be a Navy SEAL. One of my kids, I had a couple of kids in the Navy, and one of them was good friends with Eric, and so Eric become a SEAL. He went to Corona, California, and he did all that stuff, and now he become a ocean expert, and they sent him to Kuwait during the crisis they had in Kuwait, and he went through all that battle stuff, and he come home just a great American hero. He came back home. He landed in Portland. While he was getting his baggage, he was bit by a damn spider, a brown recluse. He gets home, hugs his mama, shake hands with daddy. Daddy gives him a big chest bump. And he tells him, he said, I think I've got a little jet lag. I need to lay down and rest. And Eric laid down and rested. And the family had planned this big get together for Eric Burlett. And Eric was sick. So they take him to the hospital. He's having surgery from about 11 o'clock that evening. They cut where it bit him in the hand, they cut his arm all the way up in here, went under his arm, split his arm open. They cut all this in here. They was it was affecting his blood, and it was clotting. And Eric clung on to life and death there for about 10 or 12 days, and he made a turn and started getting better, and he survived. And imagine going to combat, doing underwater demolition warfare, and having the threat of your life every moment that you're in the field of operations. Comes home and a damn little spider bites him and damn near killed him. Yeah, yeah. I got bit from a wrong side right here. I'm looking in the. I'm seeing a mirror image of me on the screen. Right here, I got bit by a spider right here, and it eat up the hole in my bone right here, and milky white stuff had run down here out of the. Oh, that was awful. The spider, the package that we got in was from Indonesia, so it was one of them darn Indonesian spiders. Stuff's going to happen. That's life. Well, is Ray in good shape, Motor Bomb? Is he? How's his hand today? I've seen his bandages begin to. He needs to have that bandage changed out pretty soon. Looks like some blood is soaked through there. That skin graft. I hope it takes. Oh, by the way, Motor Bomb Sick was in here. He may be out with Dave right now, but Sick was here. Ray Gregory's been in here. Robin was in here. There's been a few that has floated through here this morning, but he Sick had to dispatch with a person that came on to my site this morning. He wouldn't identify himself. He wouldn't tell us anything about it. It might have been a language barrier. I don't know, but Sick, he dispatched him. You know, you've been burning the candle on both ends there, Motor Bomb. uh, yeah, Sick takes care of my light work. when you're running the show, you don't have time to do things, and the moderators, that's what their job is, and he does a good job. He's the hit man. Yeah, brown chicken hit is our hit man. Welcome back, Ray Gregory and Brown Chicken. Well, I've changed resolutions. I did some stuff last night, hoping I could maintain a signal better, longer. And I'm going to do Yard Stream today. I'm going to look at the packages they offer there. And so it'd be nice to have somebody sitting here beside of you. You can have some of your best buds hop in here with you, and we got to see how that's going to go. Yeah, I think I said a while ago that there was somebody that I know. When I was talking to them on the phone, oh yeah, I was talking on the phone. They said, "I never say anything, but I watch every day. I know everyone. I know all them characters." And that person I was talking to started naming off all the characters. They even know Ray Ray. Ray Ray is even known by people that never speak. Oh, I tell you, I enjoyed that ride yesterday with Ray. When we was riding out in the country, when he run across that big-breasted wobble butt, like a female version of Bigfoot. I run across one, Ray. I've got a video of it. I made a video and I did just like you did. I zoomed in. I was shooting it in 4K, so I zoomed in. There was a guy came out of the woods with no shirt on, came out of the deep, thickest of woods, and he had his hair all stranded. It was just sticking up all over the place, and his beard was just full of kookaburras. And had when I zoomed in on him, he had a wild glazed looking eye, but he threw his hand up, and went "Hey!" And I went "Hey" back at him while I was riding the bike. But I called him the indigenous Met Man because chances was he was out there cooking off some met along the creek. Yeah, he's the indigenous Met Man. My daughter, I told my daughter up in Washington State I was going to try to see the next time I'd stop by there and try to lure him out of the woods, and maybe I could fix her up a date with the indigenous Met Man. Yeah, I'm gonna check the core package. Core package. I'm gonna check all that stuff out. I never explored that because I never had a reliable system. I've got a semi-reliable system now, and I'm gonna see if I can do that. I'll look at the packages. I pay for almost everything. On my YouTube, I pay for YouTube. I pay almost $16 a month to have YouTube. I have what they call the premium, and it gives you a few more things. Um, yeah, out here in the woods, you almost have to buy everything that's going to work for you. And I bought a channel once before when I was doing my raccoons, Ray, and it was dedicated so people, when I went to bed at night, people could watch my raccoons. The camera stayed on 24 hours, 24/7. And they could interface, like in June when all the young baby raccoons are born, they always came up to the feeder. The mama would bring them up, and I'd have 6 or 7 thousand viewers that loved, I mean, around the world. And the Scandinavian countries were big. They would come in and watch my little raccoons, and they loved the little raccoons. I called it the Raccoon Ranch. The channel name was the Raccoon Ranch. And me and the guy Jim up in Nova Scotia, he's a retired Canadian Mountie detective. He is the Raccoon Whisperer, and he's a wonderful old guy. He loved my little animals, and I loved him. He's got more. He's more. I don't get myself involved with the raccoons other than feeding them, and he goes out and lets them walk all over him and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want the animals to become dependent upon human beings, because not every human being they run across is going to be kind and generous to them. I got a friend of mine. His name that he uses is the Raccoon Hunter, because he hunts them and kills them. He don't eat the meat either. He just kills them for the fur. Oh, he's got another name. He goes by Coon Dog because he uses coon dogs to track down the raccoons. I do too. I tell you, uh, the movies on the premium, you get all them 4K movies. There's a good choice of movies. You can go back and look up old westerns. They bought up a lot of western shows. Whatever you're into, you can go up on the premium. You can go up there and select all the. Yeah, I've been on premium ever since they came out and advertised it. I went up there and signed on. When I first signed on, it was like $11, and then it went to $12, and now it's almost $16. But I enjoy it. Oh, it's a selection of the videos that you have. If you have time to watch a video, there's just a lot of. You can go up there. I think there's a page where you can see the advantages of having the premium over. Um, no advertisement when you all your movies. There's no commercials. I'm gonna tell you something. It makes me mad, Motorbomb, and you can verify this. And good morning, riding on Ruby. You can verify this, Motorbomb. See, there's no commercials when you have premium. There's none, zero, nada, no commercials. But however, guys like Cletus McFarland and all the big channels that you watch, your favorite channel, they'll go, today is brought to you by Kava Coffee. Now you can have Kava and they do damn live commercials on my premium channel. But that's them. But you can fast forward through those. You don't have to sit through them. You can slide on up. They're usually only like a 1 minute spot, and they get paid for that, for advertising various things. But it's a little slippery way for them to slip a commercial in to their live broadcast. Yeah, well, my favorite channel, I just fast forward because I watch Cletus McFarland almost every day. He's on a lot of time. I watch Bad Chad out of Nova Scotia every day. He bought a 1962 Plymouth yesterday, and I think it was a Plymouth. He's going to put a 413 in it. He's got a well built 413. He's going to put in his little Plymouth. He paid $8,000 for it, but it was showroom quality. I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna look it up today. Spend the day. I'll probably go on testing. Like, look how many times I tested on YouTube to make sure I would be able to stay on YouTube. Yeah, if you're something you've been following, I like Diesel Dave out there in Utah. Diesel Dave is always he's got exciting things, you know. He's got a really happy crew that runs with him. He's always doing things for human beings, rescue operations, and his whole content's about all of his heavy equipment, his helicopter. He flies a Black Hawk. He flies a Black Hawk, and him and Cletus McFarland are good friends, and he flies the Black Hawk down to Florida to the Freedom Factory, and he's always doing rescue services with that big Black Hawk. And Cletus, he's got a couple of different helicopters he flies. He flew his helicopter up in North Carolina and did many flights and hauling supplies into the people of North Carolina at Asheville. What's the circle of death? Oh, when the wheel is turning. I'm not seeing nothing here on my screen. Well, it's probably your power grid down there probably is causing the circle of death. You know, I mean, I'm sure the cell towers and stuff are having a hard time maintaining with all the stuff that's going on with the rescue. I got T-Mobile. That's what I got. I don't have a telephone T-Mobile. I have T-Mobile internet. I got AT&T phone, which has right now on this phone, I've got two bars on this phone, AT&T. And if I leave here, y'all see me leave out. I go up my driveway, go around the corner, full scale, full scale. But where I'm at here is dead zone. You know, I wish I was with Verizon for so many years. One time we was in a 40-foot motor coach, and we was up in Yellowstone in a 40-foot motor coach. And there was six of us in a 40-foot motor coach. And I was the only one. I had Verizon. In Yellowstone, they only allow Verizon to be the carrier of Yellowstone at that time. They contract this, and they set up these towers in the park because they're very limited what you can do in the national park. And everybody would come over to the motor coach and hook up their USB and charge their phones and get on, log in through my system so they could make contact with the family and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Verizon was really good. And then they built a new AT&T tower. I see it going up, and they said it was. I saw all the AT&T trucks over there, so I switched over to AT&T. But unfortunately, I can't hit that tower. The tower's 4 miles away, and I can't make it because I've got a ridge between us. I don't understand it. Have you wrote YouTube, or have you done any, going beyond talking to us about it? Have you looked at your carrier or YouTube about why you can't use your phone? Well, you're probably going to have to pursue that avenue to get the results that you're looking for. Um, it's frustrating, you've got all that service and everything. I live out in the woods. Look how many years it took me to ever be able to get on the air. I've had huge satellite here, crapola. I've had all kinds of. I had a router that was coming from 44 miles away, but they was using the AT&T tower that's over this ridge behind me, and I still just had marginal signal. And I put up with that for like 4 years, and finally, somebody said they've expanded T-Mobile in your area. So I went and looked, and sure enough, but it's kind of a little bit fishy. My area is not really covered, but there's a telephone number. They assigned me a telephone number, not my telephone number. It's a telephone number in the zone that's active, so they could activate me. Really weird. A little bit suspicious. A big company like that would do something, use somebody else's, use another number, a telephone number they assign to you. I don't understand it, but that's what they did. If I go over on my router and push that button on the router, it tells me what phone number is associated with that router over there, and it ain't mine. And I look in the contract, and there's that number shows up in the contract, but my mailing address and all that kind of stuff is correct. But they had to do that to be able to allow me to have a box in this zone. Really strange. Here's the problem. Starlink. I remember I did all those others. I had the other satellite systems here. When you use the satellite, they give you a 50 gigabyte limit or some limit. And like with my Hughes, in 12 days, I'd have my 50 gigabytes used up, and then I wouldn't have any more service for the rest of the month. Limited service. There's another thing called latency or whatever. It's the delay. You got to keep in mind from the time I speak goes to the satellite, thousands of miles, 100, 150 miles up or whatever, and then has to go into some kind of a system. So you get a lot of delay going through the different. Starlink is, I think it's a good emergency system. I don't know. I use this. So I can't. I don't want to jump off of the deep end and say that I know anything about it. I just know it exists. But I've had trouble if any other satellite system has always got an issue of the delay. I tell you why. When I was on the Hughes, I'd be doing the Alabama football game with my good friend now. He's passed on, but him and I would do color commentary on the using our chat. We'd be doing this, and I'd go, he'd go, "Oh no!" I go, "What's wrong?" He said, "They run the ball in." I go, "What? What do you mean they run the ball in? They're just now in formation. They haven't even hiked the ball yet." And then I was like 7 seconds delay. Mine was 7 seconds from his. I said, "Don't tell me no more. I do not want you to tell me that they've just kicked the field goal." I said, "I want to see it." All right, thanks, buddy. Well, anybody that's got Starlink could give me information on like things like, are they a limit? Because if you're doing live, you could consume 50 gigabytes pretty quick. I know it's pretty amazing on a starlit night to go out there and they'll have them stringed up. You know, they are a series of satellites in a that's running, I guess, in the coordinates or whatever. It won't be long. Starlink's going to be everywhere. And another thing is like with Hughes satellite, but it's a pretty massive satellite, but the storage capacity was pretty limited. And if you had 150 million people using Hughes, there would be times when you couldn't even get on. Be times when there would be such a lag. $120 a month, unlimited. Hey, hang on, come over here, sweetie, and hand me that. Whoa, look at this now. This is your first time.
First time.
Hey, hold my phone, babe. I'm gonna try to tip the camera down so they can see that. She made sausage. That's a sausage patty, and her first time to make gravy. She made sausage gravy for Old Mac and biscuits. And so, boys and girls, I think Old Mac is going to bid you a fair adieu. Hey, here I'm gonna switch hands. You take this cup here. Reason Honey Bun is not. You want to say, wave at the gang or? She's still got her pajamas on. You might bring me some coffee, sweetie. Um, you guys have a blessed day and look forward to us all getting back together later in the day. I'm going to eat my gravy and biscuits while the gravy is still piping hot. Yeah, she gave hey, Dave, she's gone now. It's just, you just got here just as I'm signing off. Um, I need to eat my gravy and biscuits. She gets mad at me when she cooks for me and I don't eat the food. I sit there and let it get cold. And every one of you have a blessed day. If you go riding, may God ride with you today. And don't hurt him either, for God's sakes. I love you, man. I love all of you. Come back and visit Old Mac tomorrow. We'll try to get something. We'll try to talk about something you like to talk about. Peace out, brothers.